Fight fans, buckle up! UFC 321 ended in absolute disaster with one of the most disappointing finishes in recent UFC history. Tom Aspinall's heavyweight title defense against Cyril Gane came to a devastating halt after an eye poke left the champion unable to continue, resulting in a no contest that sent shockwaves through the MMA world. What started as a tremendous challenge for Aspinall quickly turned into a nightmare scenario. Following a strong start from both competitors, Gane put up his hand to block an exchange, and his fingers went directly into Aspinall's eyes at 4 minutes and 35 seconds of the opening round. Aspinall received medical attention but repeatedly stated he couldn't see, forcing referee Jason Herzog to call a stop to the fight. Because Herzog deemed the eye poke accidental, the result was declared a no contest. The Abu Dhabi crowd showered the fighters with boos, which led to an emotional Aspinall shouting at the audience, asking why they were booing him. "Guys, I just got fucking poked knuckle deep in the eyeball. Why are you booing? Well, what am I supposed to do about it? I didn't do the fucking poke. I can't see," Aspinall yelled at the crowd. With a wet rag covering his eye and anxious to receive medical treatment, the champion was understandably devastated, especially considering he had to wait 15 months to get back in the octagon only for the fight to end this way. Aspinall called it complete bullshit and said he was pissed off because the fight was just getting going. He revealed it was actually a double poke that hit both eyeballs and he could hardly open his eye. Gane was equally disappointed after starting strong and actually doing significant damage to Aspinall before the eye poke ended everything. The French challenger apologized to the crowd, the fans, Tom Aspinall, and himself, stating he was really disappointed, but this is the sport. Prior to the eye poke, Aspinall started the fight by taking center and showing off his immense hand speed. But Gane was more than ready as he circled away to avoid damage. Gane then established a lightning quick jab that was consistently popping Aspinall in the nose, causing significant bleeding across his face. This is possibly the worst outcome for the heavyweight division, which was already on hold waiting to see what Jon Jones would do. Aspinall retains his championship, but now must wait to see how much damage was done to his eye before contemplating a return, which won't happen until sometime in 2026. In all likelihood, he'll run it back with Gane, but the heavyweight division remains in limbo. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss UFC results, fight breakdowns, and the latest developments in mixed martial arts. Dana White reacted to the absolutely shitty ending of the UFC 321 main event and confirmed plans for a rematch between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane. Speaking at the post-fight press conference, the UFC CEO admitted he feels the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending. White pointed out that after the Jon Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril Gane off completely, but he looked damn good tonight, and it appeared we were in for a few rounds of a great fight. However, White also knows it was ultimately Aspinall's call on whether or not he continued. The UFC boss stated he can't make people fight, and you definitely can't make somebody continue if they feel they've been injured. White emphasized that only Tom knows what happened, whether he could see or couldn't see, whether he could continue or not.
Let's see a main event end, any fight end. Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it all went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril Gane off. He looked damn good tonight.
Yeah, what did you think about the fight on its way to the eye poke? What did you take from those 4 minutes?
Good. Looked like we were in for a few rounds and it was going to be a good fight.
About the main event, coming into this fight between the two of them, Cyril was the underdog and Tom the most popular. With the few things we've seen into this fight, I feel like Cyril was doing pretty well. Do you feel the same? And do you feel that he's earned respect so that people would care even more when you make this fight again and the odds would be more equivalent?
Yes. Yes, I agree. I think that, I said earlier, because of the Jon Jones fight, I think everybody was sleeping on Cyril Gane and sort of wrote him off. And he's right behind me. He's coming in next, so you guys can ask him how he felt. But I feel like, you know, I'm sure in his camp, he was training like an animal for this fight. And it's unfortunate that it ended the way that it did. And yes, I think that there probably will be a lot more interest in the rematch after they saw, you know, I mean, he had Tom bloodied up and, you know, Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. So The rematch is very interesting. What's that? Yeah, as soon as possible. Yep.
As soon as the eye poke occurred, Aspinall received medical attention and kept holding a wet towel up to his face as he attempted to recover. Unfortunately, as time passed, it became clear Aspinall was saying his vision was completely compromised, which effectively ended the fight. With the result as a no contest, White admitted there's really no other choice but to run it back, even if that's not what the UFC was hoping for after the heavyweight title already sat dormant for over a year. When asked directly if they'll book the rematch, White confirmed it's a total pain in the ass, but yes, they'll do it. He noted that both fighters are in shape other than whatever's wrong with Aspinall's eye, and both guys are not injured, so they'll book it as soon as possible. White revealed Aspinall was transported to a local hospital immediately after the fight, which is why he didn't make any appearance at the press conference. That said, White admits he was really impressed with Gani's showing, and if there's any positive takeaway, it's that the odds in the rematch should be much, much closer. White believes that because of the Jon Jones fight, everybody was sleeping on Cyril Gane and kind of wrote him off. He's sure that in Gani's camp he was training like an animal for this fight, and it's unfortunate it ended the way it did. White thinks there probably will be a lot more interest in the rematch after people saw Gane had Tom bloodied up and Aspinall didn't want to continue in the fight, making the rematch very interesting. Alex Pereira has one more reason to consider a heavyweight move after the UFC 321 disaster. Saturday's main event failed to deliver as Tom Aspinall was poked in the eye by Cyril Gane, resulting in a no contest that left fans at Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi booing the result. Shortly after, an amused Poitin posted a video on social media reacting to the ending with a very specific caption: "Let's make the heavyweight division great again." Pereira recently reclaimed the UFC light heavyweight title with a thudding first-round knockout of Magomed Ankalaev, the man who beat him for the belt this past March. Having also previously claimed a title at middleweight, Pereira has made overtures to possibly chasing a third title in the heavyweight division. Specifically, he said he wants to fight Jon Jones, and with Jones retiring and then unretiring earlier this year, that could be a possibility. The question now is whether Pereira will attempt to take the heavyweight title from Aspinall first to add even greater stakes to a super fight with Jones, or if he'll bypass the current champion entirely. The heavyweight division is in absolute chaos right now, and Pereira's social media post suggests he's ready to step in and bring some excitement back to the weight class. Jon Jones only had words for Alex Pereira after the conclusion of UFC 321, completely ignoring Tom Aspinall in the process. Saturday's event in Abu Dhabi ended in massive disappointment with heavyweight champion Aspinall unable to continue after taking a Cyril Gane eye poke. The bout was ruled a no contest, which caused fans at Etihad Arena to shower the fighters with boos. Making matters worse for Aspinall, this was his first bout as undisputed champion. When Jones retired with the heavyweight belt this past June, the UFC elevated Aspinall from interim to undisputed status, and a win over Gane would have served as a coronation for Aspinall, who had hunted a unification bout with Jones for over a year. Jones has since announced his plans to come out of retirement and fight at the historic UFC White House event tentatively scheduled for June 4th, but he's definitely not coming back for Aspinall. Taking to Twitter, Jones wrote directly to Alex Pereira, saying he'd be down to bring the highest skill level to the White House and appreciating the respect Pereira showed, ending with "Let's dance." Pereira is currently in his second reign as UFC light heavyweight champion, a title Jones held for the better part of a decade before later becoming heavyweight champion. And he has also held UFC gold at middleweight. Pereira has been open about wanting to chase a third title at heavyweight and posted his own reaction to Saturday's main event on Instagram with the caption, "Let's make the heavyweight division great again," accompanied by a clip of him laughing at the ending of UFC 321. Despite Jones not directly addressing him, Aspinall did not escape Jones's attention completely. Bones changed his Instagram profile picture from a duck, a reference to Aspinall supporters accusing Jones of avoiding a fight with Aspinall, to a duck with an eye patch, which is an absolutely brutal troll job. The message is crystal clear. Jones has zero interest in fighting Aspinall and is openly mocking the heavyweight champion's eye injury while pursuing a super fight with Pereira instead. Dana White had nothing but praise for how the judges scored a controversial fight at UFC 321 that many fans and fighters are calling a robbery. the key heavyweight bout between Jailton Almeida and Alexander Volkov, which was widely seen as a title eliminator, caused a major stir when the scorecards were announced. Volkov beat Almeida via split decision, with the judges not rewarding the Brazilian for his control-heavy and low-activity strategy in Abu Dhabi. That decision split opinion in the MMA community dramatically. While some fighters and fans branded the result an absolute robbery, others were pleased to see the judges focus on damage rather than just control time. The UFC CEO fell firmly into the latter category while reacting to the fight at his press conference. White told reporters that you can't win a fight by just laying on top of somebody. And he was actually very happy with the way the judges scored that fight.
Well, Ben Askren was like, "What is Jailton like allergic to throwing punches in there?" Was his exact words.
You can't win a fight by just laying on top of somebody. That's not how it works. So I was actually very happy with the way the judges scored that fight.
This is a significant statement from White because it signals a potential shift in how the UFC wants judges to score fights moving forward. For years, fighters have been able to win rounds simply by securing takedowns and maintaining top position, even if they're doing minimal damage. White's comments suggest the promotion wants to see judges reward effective striking and damage over passive control, which could have major implications for grapplers throughout the sport. Almeida's game plan was clearly to take Volkov down and control him on the ground, but the judges sided with Volkov, who was the more active striker and caused more visible damage. With Aspinall and Gunna heading to a rematch, Volkov now potentially moves into the #1 contender spot, though the heavyweight division's future remains uncertain with Jon Jones and Alex Pereira both lurking in the background. Don't forget to smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for all UFC results, fight analysis, and breaking news. What did you think of the UFC 321 main event disaster? Should Aspinall have continued? Was the Volkov versus Almeida decision a robbery? Will Jon Jones really fight Alex Pereira and ignore Aspinall completely? Let us know your takes and we'll catch you in the next one. We'll catch you.